This is the Swede Speaks.
So, it's time for, for this week in Sweden. Or maybe I should call it last week in Sweden. Because when I'm recording this, it's Monday morning. Although, for many of my viewers, I think it's still Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening. But anyway, let's get started. On Monday, October 16th, 2017, in Karlstad, in Värmland, the moderate coalition party and the Christian Democrats opposes a local referendum on the building of a mosque in the neighborhood of Rud in Karlstad. The Salafist mosque has been approved, but the Sweden Democrats try to stop them by collecting signatures for a referendum. But the moderates and the Christian Democrats are opposed to a referendum, and together with other parties in the local council, there are now enough members of Karlstad's municipal council to stop a referendum. And this is interesting, since at least the moderates were among those opposing the building of that mosque to begin with, but they don't want a local referendum. In Stockholm, according to a decision made by Stockholm's municipal council, children of paperless immigrants, that means illegal aliens, are now entitled to welfare benefits in Stockholm. And also in Stockholm, the Green Party excluded Revar Hassan for his criticism of Sweden's migration policies. Hassan is a Stockholm County Council politician. On Tuesday, October 17th, in Gislaved in Småland, in the south of Sweden, Joachim Lamotte, an independent journalist and lecturer who lectures on Swedish schools about the view on women and sexual harassment, was cancelled from lecturing at Gislaveds Gymnasium, meaning Gislaveds Senior High School. Supposedly, he expressed racist statements and acted in an anti-feminist way in some of his videos. Which I find interesting, because I have watched some of his videos and I have never picked up on anything like that. But, well, that's what the left says, because he was stopped after a campaign started by a Social Democrat politician. Also on Tuesday, a book about sex called Me and You, full of illustrations, was launched. The book was launched in Swedish and Arabic. Among the illustrations, and I'm sorry, I have to be a little graphic now, but among the illustrations in the book was one of a threesome involving one man and two women. One of the women wearing some kind of Mickey, or I guess Minnie Mouse mask while riding a man, and another woman carrying a whip. The book is answering questions posed by newly arrived migrants. I wonder what these questions were. Calculations made by the Swedish Pension Authority shows that the large influx of people with little education will double the costs for pensions for the state of Sweden. On Wednesday, October 18th, in Helsingborg, in Skåne, the southernmost part of Sweden, about 20 minutes past midnight, there was an explosion at the police station in Helsingborg. No people were harmed, but all the windows in the building were broken. Helsingborg area police chief Patrik Heimbrand said that he thinks that the police managed to annoy criminals by their work in criminal environments. Also on Wednesday, Magdalena Andersson, Minister for Finance, suggested that the retirement age should be raised, pointing to the fact that Sweden's benefit costs increase faster than government revenue. Andersson said that people who are alert should be allowed to work after their 65th birthday, which is the retirement age in Sweden now. 20 moderate members of the Swedish parliament suggested in a private members' bill that military personnel should be used against criminal gangs in especially vulnerable areas. They mean no-go zones. I guess they were inspired what the Danes are doing. On Thursday, October 19th, in Enskededalen in Stockholm, two men were shot and they were brought to a hospital. According to witnesses, several people left the place after the shooting. One of the men later died. And on Friday, October 20th, In Stockholm, in the neighborhoods of Västertorp and Fruängen, both in the south of Stockholm, gangs of kids attack other kids. One 12-year-old girl was surrounded by teenage girls who slapped her and punched her and kicked her when she was lying down. And also on Friday, PostNord, a postal company owned by the states of Sweden and Denmark, launched a new collection of stamps, including one depicting a mask. On Saturday, October 21st, in Hjällbo in Gothenburg, during Saturday morning a dead man was found in the neighborhood of Hjällbo. According to the police, it seems like he died a few hours before the body was found. The case is investigated as a murder case. And Hanif Bali, an Iranian-born Swedish member of parliament for the moderate coalition party, was blocked from Facebook after criticizing Masoud Kamali, also Iranian-born, and professor of social work. Masoud Kamali, by the way, has called Hanif Bali, well, he's called him a servant to white Swedes and other horrible things because he doesn't like Hanif Bali's, in my view, legitimate criticism of Swedish migration policies and things like that. And on Sunday, October 22nd, in Ängelholm in Skåne, in the southernmost part of Sweden, a 20-year-old male was arrested under suspicion of throwing 2 flammable objects into a nightclub. And in Gothenburg, a man was stabbed in the head at Drottningtorget close to Nordstan in downtown Gothenburg. The man was brought to hospital. And in Stockholm, an armed and masked man robbed a hotel guest in western Stockholm. The victim was threatened with an object resembling a gun. It might have been a gun. It looked like a gun at least. And the victim lost his cell phone and his wallet. The robbery took place inside the hotel. A suspect was arrested an hour later in Bromma, close to Bromma airport in the north of Stockholm. So that's some of the things that happened in this week in Sweden, or last week, depending on which part of the Atlantic we're on right now. But that's really what I have to say about last week in Sweden. Let's call it that. So I intend to return by the end of this week or next week. Well, I think you know what I mean. To make a new episode about the news stories coming out of Sweden. So until next time, have a nice day and God bless.